Have you ever stopped to consider the mystery that is learning? How do we, as humans, acquire new knowledge? Let's take a moment to marvel at the wonder of learning. Every day we're constantly learning, whether we're reading a book, watching a movie, or even just having a conversation with a friend. It's a part of our daily lives, as natural as breathing. But have you ever considered what's happening behind the scenes? What's going on in that marvelous brain of ours as we soak up all this new information? Well, it's a lot more complex than you might think. Our brains are not just organs, they're like supercomputers, with the power to store and process an astounding amount of information. Every second our brains are buzzing with activity, taking in new information, processing it and storing it away for future use. Imagine a vast library filled with books. That's your brain, and every day you're adding new books to the shelves, filled with the knowledge and experiences you've gained. It's a never-ending process of growth and expansion, all thanks to the incredible power of learning. But it's not just about storing information. Our brains are also forming connections, linking together different pieces of information in a complex web. It's like connecting the dots in a picture, creating a complete image from separate elements. This is the true beauty of learning. It's not just about knowing facts, but understanding how they fit together. And the more we learn, the more connections we form. Our brains become richer, more intricate, more complex. This is why learning is so vital. It's not just about gaining knowledge, but about building our understanding of the world. Now you might be thinking, this is all very fascinating, but what exactly happens in our brain when we learn something new? Well, that's a question that scientists have been trying to answer for years, and the answers they've found are truly astonishing. But that, dear listener, is a topic for our next scene, so stay tuned as we dive deeper into the science of learning. The secret lies in a process called synaptic plasticity. Now don't let that term scare you off. It's just a fancy way of saying our brains are like super adaptable Play-Doh. Let's break it down. Synaptic refers to synapses, the tiny spaces between our brain cells, or neurons. Plasticity is derived from the Greek word plastikos, which means to mold or shape. So, synaptic plasticity is all about how our brains mold and shape the connections between neurons. Picture it like this. Imagine each neuron is an island, and the synapses are bridges connecting these islands. Every time we learn something new, we are essentially building a new bridge. The more we revisit and reinforce that learning, the stronger the bridge becomes. This is synaptic plasticity at work, the foundation of learning. But why is this so important? Well, imagine a city without any bridges. It would be pretty challenging to get around, wouldn't it? The same goes for our brains. Without synaptic plasticity, transferring and storing information would be a real struggle. It's the bridges or synapses that allow us to effectively navigate the vast landscape of our minds. But the beauty of synaptic plasticity doesn't stop there. Our brains are not static structures. They're dynamic and constantly changing. That's why you can learn to love broccoli even if you hated it as a kid, or why you can pick up a new language in your 30s. The brain's ability to adapt and change is a testament to the incredible power of synaptic plasticity. It's the reason we can continue to learn and grow throughout our lives. It's the reason we can adapt to new environments, new challenges, and new information. So, synaptic plasticity is crucial, but is that all there is to learning? As you might have guessed, the answer is a resounding no. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the science of learning and unlock more secrets of the brain. Learning isn't just about cramming facts into our heads, it's also about understanding concepts and forming connections. So, let's take a dive into the ocean of knowledge and explore the role of problem-solving and critical thinking in learning. Imagine our brain as a busy city. The neurons are the buildings, and the synaptic connections between them are the roads. Now, when we learn something new, it's as if we are creating a new road between two buildings. The more we revisit that information, the more we travel on that road, making it wider and easier to use. Now, what happens when we engage in activities like problem-solving and critical thinking? It's as if we're not just traveling on existing roads, but we're also creating new ones, linking previously unrelated buildings. This process, known as synaptic plasticity, strengthens these connections, making the city, our brain, more efficient and versatile. Let's take a real-life example. Say you're learning to play a musical instrument. At first, you may struggle to play a single note in tune, but as you practice, you start forming connections between different pieces of information, like the placement of your fingers and the sound each note makes. You're not just memorizing facts like this finger position equals this note, but you're also understanding concepts and forming connections between them. This is where critical thinking and problem solving come into play. They're like the city planners of our brain, helping us build and maintain efficient networks of information. And it's not just about learning new things. These processes also help us adapt to new situations and solve problems more efficiently. For instance, if you've developed good problem-solving skills while learning to play a musical instrument, you might find it easier to tackle other challenges in your life, like fixing a flat tire or even planning your weekly schedule. But how can understanding these processes help us in the real world? We'll delve into that in our next discussion. So, buckle up and get ready for a mind-blowing journey into the science of learning. By unlocking the secrets of the brain and understanding how we learn, we can revolutionize education techniques. Imagine an education system that's not just about cramming facts and figures into our heads, but one that instead focuses on developing our understanding and critical thinking skills. This isn't some future fantasy, it's entirely within our reach, thanks to the science of learning. The potential applications of these insights in educational settings are vast. For instance, we could create curriculums that are tailored to the way our brains naturally learn. This means less rote memorization and more engaging interactive learning experiences. We'd focus on understanding concepts, not just memorizing them. We'd learn to solve problems, not just recite solutions. Imagine classrooms where students are encouraged to ask questions, to challenge ideas, to think critically. These are the skills that will serve us well in the real world after all. We're not just filling our heads with knowledge, we're learning how to learn. And that's a skill that will benefit us for a lifetime. But it's not just about improving education on a systemic level. These insights can also help us as individuals. We can use the science of learning to develop better study habits, to improve our focus, to retain information more effectively. It's about reaching our full potential, about becoming the best learners we can be. Of course, implementing these changes won't be easy. It will require a shift in how we think about education, how we approach learning, but the potential benefits are worth it. Improved education techniques can lead to more effective learning, to deeper understanding, to greater academic success. And who doesn't want that? So, the science of learning doesn't just help us understand our brains better, it can also help us learn better. By understanding how our brains work, we can tailor our learning methods to match. And when we do that, we unlock our true potential. We become not just better learners, but better thinkers, better problem solvers, better innovators, and that's something worth striving for. So, we've embarked on a fascinating journey into the science of learning and the secrets of our brain. We've uncovered how our brains, those amazingly complex organs, store and process a mind-boggling amount of information. And it's not just about absorbing facts and figures. It's about understanding concepts and forming connections between different pieces of information. Our brains are like supercomputers, constantly rewiring and forming new connections between neurons, thanks to the process known as synaptic plasticity. We've also delved into the importance of engaging in activities like problem solving and critical thinking. These aren't just skills for the classroom or the workplace, they're tools for life that help strengthen our neural connections and enhance our overall learning ability. And let's not forget the role of education in all of this. By understanding the science of learning, we can improve educational techniques, tailor teaching methods to individual learning styles, and ultimately help every person reach their full potential. Remember, learning isn't a one-size-fits-all process. It's an ongoing journey of discovery, growth, and adaptation. As we unravel the mysteries of the brain, we not only learn more about ourselves, but also how we can become more effective learners. So, whether you're a student cramming for exams, a professional striving to keep up with the latest developments in your field, or a lifelong learner driven by curiosity, understanding the science of learning can be a game changer. With that said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to discover and understand about our brains and how we learn. So, keep that curiosity alive, keep asking questions, and keep seeking answers. Thank you for joining this exploration into the world of science and learning. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating insights. The journey of learning never ends,